I mean, no offense. We ate a lot more without you here.
Perfect.
So my little one doesn't like cake. He just likes icing. That's what you do to all the cupcakes.
Sounds really, really healthy, actually.
I do my best to give him a well-rounded diet, and I think that icing is a food group. Isn't it part of the dairy food group?
To maybe in the children's food group. But then you got to include like
Ketchup?
gummy worms and gummy bears and dirt and stuff like that.
I think dirt is probably healthier than gummy worms.
Probably.
Although I personally prefer gummy worms. I like any gummy candies in case anyone's thinking about what they should send me. Yeah.
Gummy candies?
Yeah, gummy bears in particular. Like, I'm kind of old school. Bite the heads off first. That's what I do.
I don't know if that's old school or just maybe a little like sadomasochist style, but I like
Yummy.
it.
That's a show for tomorrow night.
We keep doing this beautiful previews.
You should see last week we were talking about what was going to be on Sexpot, and I was grilling Warren on the questions that were going to be talked about on Sexpot, and finally he's like, you're bogarting their entire show.
That's okay. We're just the pleasant preview. They can
preview.
get like through all like the 9 layers of juiciness, or however many.
Let's write a book called The 9 Layers of Juiciness.
I'm down. That'll be like the name of my biography when I sit down and write one. Let's get into the details.
That would be awesome. We have a super fun show tonight.
We do. I'm very excited.
I am too.
We have some jet setters in, fresh off the drunken plane.
You know, I've said this since the moment I started doing internet radio, that my favorite thing about doing this is getting to interview my friends. And not only do I get to interview my friends, but one of my best friends is doing a show on our station. Heck yeah. I'm super excited. We're here with 2 of the nicer Stanley brothers of all the super nice Stanley brothers. It's really hard when you've got a group of really nice people, you know?
How do I describe these people?
They're like the Waltons.
Yeah, the Waltons of Perv.
The Waltons that sell medical marijuana.
Okay.
And so we're going to talk to Josh and Jesse Stanley today about a whole bunch of things, including their nonprofit, The Realm of Caring, and their new show that will be on our station starting next week, American Weed Realm Radio. We also have our dear friend Wayward Bill on Facebook. Classic. And he's going to be talking about the U.S. marijuana parties having their political convention, and also this year's the 43rd annual Smoke-In. 43rd annual Smoke-In.
Wow.
And you know what? It's not legal yet. It's not legal yet. And then I'm really excited for our third guest. We are interviewing our friend Russ Belville, and Russ Belville is formerly of the NORML Network, and the NORML Network closed suddenly, and Russ took that opportunity to start on his own personal venture. So we'll air that interview as well. So heck yeah, is what I have to say.
It's full lot.
Full lots. So let's start with, our mellow friends. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you? It's great to be on the show again after pulling an all-nighter and barely making our flight.
Josh has 3 all-nighters.
I got 3 of them under my belt. Yeah, I think we left 2 of our brothers there.
Oh, nice.
On purpose?
No, they were scheduled to fly back. They just
They didn't make it.
They didn't want to leave the gentleman's club. So that's the last place we saw him. Well, the last place I saw one of the other brothers was in his rainbow Speedo in the kiddie pool.
Ooh, with the molester stash.
how many siblings in total?
There's 11.
And there's 9 boys.
And there's 7 boys.
7 boys. 7 boys.
7
I knew
boys,
that.
4 girls.
If there's
It's
9.
Josh, Jenny, Joel, Jesse, Jonathan, Jordan, Jared, Julie, Jay, Jensen, and
No.
Damn it.
That's really sad he got that wrong, but out there, everybody, it's Josh, Jenny, Joel, Jesse, John, Jordan, Jared, Joy, Jay, Austin, Julia, and Jensen.
You know what's crazy is when you have to take a breath.
yeah.
It is.
It is. I come from a family of 7, so I mean that's not 11.
That's a
but
big family.
But I still get it. But I don't have to breathe in between naming all my siblings.
Yeah.
Like I can do it without.
and when when we were growing up, we always got into so much trouble. Especially 7 boys coming up front, it was always
God,
mom
I love
or dad.
your mom.
She would say, you know you are, just get the hell over here.
And that's why you're all named with a J, so that it made it that much easier. As long as you had a J, it was close
You're good.
enough.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody turned around when they heard that.
It's like the guilty party. You can almost
Exactly.
pick them.
Right. And I hate to bring up a really tough topic, but one of the reasons why you guys haven't been on earlier is because the matriarchal head of your family at age 97 just passed away. And we want to say from all of our listeners and our station that we are thinking of you and sending you our love. I know that she has been an incredible motivator for all of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. She's she's the only 97-year-old I know that had 11 best friends between the ages of 15 and 37.
Wow.
She raised us. She was our best friend, our teacher, our hero, our guru. She was everything. So it's quite a loss for us. We're happy for her that she's gone and out of pain, but we miss her
terribly. Yeah, Josh couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, absolutely. So the exciting thing is that in honor of your grandmother, life goes on, and you continue to do things that would make her proud. And one of the things that you're going to be doing is having started this wonderful nonprofit, the Realm of Caring, which aids particularly cancer patients in getting Phoenix Tears to be able to ultimately cure their cancer. You're going to take your knowledge and your skill and actually your kind of newfound fame and bring that to iCannabis Radio with your new show, American Weed, Realm Radio.
We are, and we couldn't be more excited about it. And one of the big reasons and the big driving factors behind this, and our biggest encourager, was our grandmother. So we decided, actually, to talk to you about Georgia, and you were another deciding factor to help us do this. And American Weed got really good ratings on the National Geographic Channel. We're not sure whether we're going to do more work with National Geographic. There's some certain stipulations that we're asking for in the contract. Basically, one, to be more medical, and that's really what the Realm of Caring seeks to do. The Stanley brothers, we're all about pot culture. We're all about legalize it, but that's not what we do. That's not our business. Our business is medical marijuana. And so what I've seen in the progression, let's say since 2009, since what people call the green rush, we've looked at this and tried to remain as medical as possible, try to pick up in the shoes of people who I believe to be great people like Rick Simpson, who would supply these patients, needy patients, with oil. And then, we go to the rallies, and we've been asked frequently to speak here, speak there, do an appearance here, and it's always, bongs and all of those things, which we love, but it's a really hard time bringing our cancer patients to those rallies with us and having them not get upset or angry. And I get that. I understand where they're coming from. They're facing life or death. And then they go to places and medical marijuana centers where they weren't able to get the oil, or if they were able to get the oil, they were charged outrageous prices for it. And so we said, that's it. Enough is enough. If we're going medical, we're going to do it. And so we put together the Realm of Caring, 501c3 nonprofit, already in existence. And our patients, until the state makes us, our patients don't pay anything for this oil. And when they do, it'll be pennies. And that is what we want to give back. We want to show, we feel like we need to show the world that this is medicine. We need to show the world how amazing it is for these patients. And we start out with cancer. We know that there's so many other conditions that these help for. And we also have a Dravet syndrome, very violent form of epilepsy. Yeah. And I'm going to make an announcement that we have not made this announcement yet before, that we were so excited about. If I may, can I keep rambling here for a minute?
Ramble away. You're doing great.
So, our Dravet kids, and if you're not familiar with Dravet syndrome, it's a very violent form of epilepsy that usually hits very young children. It causes mental retardation, among many, many other things. And these kids will typically have in excess of 200 violent seizures per week, cutting off oxygen to the brain, causing severe damage. Well, we've found that with a new plant that I've spent a couple of years in my own private breeding project, not talking with anybody about it. And we found that CBD, cannabidiol, the non-psychoactive, one of the cannabinoids found in this plant, is helping these kids go from 200 violent seizures a week to less than 20 non-violent seizures. Wow. They're coloring again. They're counting again. They're playing with their siblings again. Yeah. And I want to tell you, want to see a tearjerker? You look at these parents and what they've gone through and what these kids have gone through. Now, we can, and one of our patients, her name is Charlotte, okay? And we were on the road to our grandmother's funeral, and I get a text from, we're all in a caravan, get a text from Joel, pull the damn car over. So we got our test results from the laboratory on this plant, 2 plants that I've spent 2 years in a breeding process with. Now we have 2 of the plants that have the highest known CBD content in the known universe. Wow. 0.3% one plant and 15% CBD, 0.3 THC, 15% CBD, 0.5 THC, over 17% CBD.
Can you explain to our listeners and our viewers really quick why a lower THC and a higher CBD is important, especially for medicine for children?
Absolutely, because the ratio of a 0.5%, for example, less than 1% THC, which we know to be the active ingredient or the one that causes euphoric feeling or the high. And then we know that that percentage given to a child is not going to cause a high, okay? Mm-hmm. CBD, you can take as much of that and it doesn't cause a euphoric feeling or a high. So we're not out to get these 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds high.
They're not going to have any psychoactive effects. They're not going to have anything that might be deemed frightening or uncomfortable or abnormal. They're not even going to necessarily know that they're on a medication.
That's it. They don't know they're on a medication. And our little patient Charlotte, which I'm free to talk about, and her mom will be on our show very soon. She, God, we almost want to cry when we talk about this little girl. So we can put it in her lollipop, and she can suck on her lollipop at night and sleep and start to begin to have a normal life without having a psychoactive effect. She doesn't have any idea that she's taken anything. That's why cannabidiol, CBD, is so important. It's also showing results in California to shrink and reduce and eat breast cancer cells. So it's very important in medical research, and that's why we've spent so long, on this breeding project, and it turned out to be an immense success. So we named one of our plants that is actually particular to Charlotte. We named that plant Charlotte's Web. So you'll be hearing a lot about Charlotte's Web. And then the other plant, my grandmother was named Cigna, and the other one's called Cigna. So you'll be hearing about Charlotte Web oil and Cigna oil coming real soon. We actually have a greenhouse that we're going to donate just for the production of these meds so that we can meet the demand of many sick people out there.
I have to tell you that I have a patient that I sent your way. Her name is Annie, and Annie is a rock star. And she talked to Wendy, and I think she may have talked to you, Jesse.
I met with her, yeah. She was wonderful. She has a laundry list of things that she's had since she was a little girl, and it's very humbling to see her. Recently, the last thing on the list was a stroke, and so she has a really difficult time. I think she's 28, and she's beautiful, and she is going to be part of the realm. And actually, I meet with her tomorrow again to get her started on this, and we're really excited to see some of the results, and I know that she's really excited, and it was a pleasure meeting her, and we thank you for sending her our way.
Of course, I think one of the things that was so nice, it was really hard to get. Annie has some speech issues, and so her husband does a lot of her communication for her, and so she was really reticent to meet new people. She had tried Phoenix Tears before. It had worked really well. The first time I met her, she was 2 weeks away from being out, and she was terrified, and that's when I suggested that she contact you guys, and she was really reluctant, and it took her about a month to do it. And when I saw her last week, she said, oh my gosh, everyone was so nice, and she talked to Wendy as well, and she just felt so relaxed, and like and knew that she was going to be receiving some really, really great help, and really her entire demeanor has changed. And so, I mean, it's just that's just one of the many, many people that your organization has been helping.
Thank you very much. We're getting, I would say, an average of about 3 new patients a week, which, you don't want to see that many sick people, but I tell you what, I'm glad that they're feeling comfortable enough to come to us.
That's right.
And we're putting together tracking systems and programs with Dr. Shackelford, who's been just a saint with us, on this endeavor.
Before we need to take a break, tell us a little bit about the new show that's starting next week.
Well, it's about time that we got all these fans from the show, okay, and all these social media.
You got fans?
Well, he did.
You personally?
He did because of his mustache.
But unfortunately, they're mostly 5 and 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, Jesse didn't have that thing.
No, I did not have a mustache. This is another Vegas thing. Unfortunately, Josh can't, or fortunately, he can't grow facial hair, so he's out of the mustache club. But the rest of the brothers are in it.
I'm gonna paint. Well, I'm painting one.
He waxes.
I'm gluing one on next time we go to Vegas because I don't want to miss that kiddie pool either. So I don't know a whole lot about social media. I have a Facebook page. That's about the only thing we have. But we got all of these people coming in, which is a blessing, and them saying, "Oh, we love the show. What are you up to next?" And so for us to be able to get this out, especially in an internet radio sense, show people really what we're doing, because there was a lot of confusion. We weren't exactly happy with the way National Geographic portrayed the entire series. We thought it could have been much better.
You need to be nicer to your brothers is what I got away.
No,
That's impossible.
That is not going to happen. We're shooting 5-minute segments, shorts, for the Realm of Caring and for American Weed and for the fans, which will go viral in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Then we'll make that big splash into our radio show and we just want the viewers to call in, be able to ask us questions, because we get a lot of great questions. And one of the great questions is, how I have cancer. How do I get to Colorado? Or I have cancer. I live in Arizona,
Oklahoma.
Or I live in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Can you send me that? No, the answer is no. And God, I wish we could,
Can you
but we
send
can't.
it through the U.S. mail?
Yeah. Old Uncle Sam, he's good at getting tears out. So So
Good image.
we think that this can be an outlet and an outreach. Because people started to slide on the medical marijuana feeling, and people that were really for it have said this has become a joke, and it's not a joke. In fact, we've got a long way to go, and we just think that we can be a catalyst with that for our radio show. We want to come out passionate about it. We want everyone to get to know who the Stanley brothers are, how people can get involved as well. Good. I want this to bring the medical marijuana community in Colorado together by providing the realm with strain-specific sweet leaf trim that we can then turn into oil to give to these patients. It's going to take a crew. The Stanley brothers have enough to take care of about 50 patients a month. We're at about 30 right now. And so that's why we're going to need everyone to jump on board and get involved with this. So that's just another reason. And then we also want the show to be fun. So we'll have a science corner where you can ask the scientists and people that we do work with extraction methods and things like that questions. And then we want to have a call-in, and where you call in and gripe at us, we gripe at you. And we're going to have everybody's welcome on our show. We've got a long list of people to bring in. I want preachers on here to tell us why we're all going to hell. And, I want to open the conversation up.
So great there.
So I think it's a good forum for people to come in and be able to provide their true feelings on this.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back for just a couple minutes. And we would like to thank our sponsors, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, mmrockies.com, your mountain source for meds. They're not funny at all. They're a fantastic MMC. Go visit our friends Jerry and Aaron up in Frisco. They have an ever-changing plant selection. Please check out their website. Again, it's mmrockies.com, medicalmarijuanaoftherockies.com, where you can see not only their ever-changing strain selection that they have daily, but their clones that are available. They have a wonderful clone selection. They claim it's the best in the state. I'll say yes. Jesse?
Absolutely not. But they are very great.
They're very great. They're very great.
It's a great store, I've got to tell you, because I'm up there all the time. So go see those guys in Frisco. They got a great store. It's
a wonderful store, and they are located off Exit 203 in Frisco, right behind the Mexican restaurants and Big O Tires. So it's great. You stop and you get your tires changed, have an alignment, grab a burrito, and pick up some meds. That's mmrockies.com, medicalmarijuanaoftherockies.com. You're listening to iCannabis Radio, The Cure with George and Amy. We'll be right back.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
This is Scott with Thunderdome Radio, and you've been listening to Georgia and Amy Show, only on iCannabisradio.com. And now, back to Georgia and Amy.
Welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to The Cure on iCannabis Radio with Amy and Georgia. Hi, Amy.
Hi, George.
We're having such a good night with our friends, the Stanley brothers, 2 of the 8 million Stanleys.
2 of the 9.
Thank you guys so much for being with us. We were talking a little bit about, we've talked about Realm of Caring and the wonderful work that you're doing, and I'm so happy that I personally have some patients that are coming and getting Phoenix Tears from you guys and working with you. That makes me outrageously happy. On top of that, I'm really excited that you guys are going to be bringing your work and your personalities to iCannabis Radio with your new show, American Weed, Realm Radio. And so first show is a week from tomorrow. That's June 5th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And the idea of that show really is to bring the brothers together and allow your listeners to kind of get to know them, because that's part of what made American Weed so engaging for people. I mean, of course, the marijuana industry and people selling pot is so sensational. However, what people really liked was getting to know the human aspect, and you guys have a very unique situation. You guys are a family-run business, and you're an extremely close and tight family, as we talked about. I mean, your mom is a saint. We're all going to a different place than she is. There's no doubt about that.
For sure, there's a special heaven set for her.
There's special heaven. So tell us about what you expect to get out of your very first show next week.
Our first show, I want it to be our first, and maybe even our second show. I want it to be an introduction of who we are, of all the brothers. Because I look at this and I say, even every day, being the oldest of 11 of our Stanley clan, I find out something new about my brothers each day. We're all so very unique and so different, but I have to say that my brothers are my favorite people on this planet. And so I want to share them. Well, besides my wife.
I was going to say.
Yes.
Text her right now.
She's not listening, I hope.
Yeah, I hope
Actually,
not.
I just got a text from her, and she said I look pretty.
Pretty on that couch, reeled up with my dog.
right. And a ball.
Exactly. You know, and I think Rochelle is going to be on the show as well. We're going to have my mother on the show. We're going to have even some of my sisters on the show. I want to get their perspective because this is, you know, when you say, you know, we're what they call us, the first family of marijuana, there's a lot of us, okay? And people say, oh, you're the Waltons of marijuana. And I'm like, not really. We're more like the Osbournes.
No, you're totally the Waltons. And you are John Boy.
John Boy? No.
From now on, that's it. Yep. I think I'll design a tattoo.
A tattoo, John Boy Stanley.
Yeah.
Well, we have a line of guests that I've talked to and people that we want to have on. We're going to be having on some congressmen and having some senators on and kind of show the battles and the frustrations that they've gone through in trying to pass legislation, responsible legislation, squashing irresponsible legislation like the 5 nanogram limit. Then we're also going to have what we call the Science Corner. And the Science Corner is going to be 15 minutes for each of our hours. So you can sit and ask questions to Dr. Shackelford. You can ask questions to Chris Stubbs from Can Labs. And then we also have a very, very special guest that's going to be on named Steve Baugh, who's one of the top organic chemists in Colorado and working on multiple compounds. For those of you that don't understand that, if FDA compound or FDA-approved medicine is only a single compound. And if that comes from a plant, which almost all medicines do, then it's limited in its efficacy, and that's why you have all your disclaimers such as premature death and anal bleeding, right? So now when we can do dual compounds with this,
if you have an erection lasting more than 4 hours, contact your doctor.
Yeah,
or a hooker.
yeah.
They just came back from Vegas.
Yeah,
folks.
disclaimer, just came back from Vegas.
had an
Don't
erection
take
for over
anything
That's
too
the Stanley
seriously.
disclaimer.
You have to go into the ER and be like, you know, I've had an erection for over 4 hours. I can't get rid of this bitch. What do I do about this? So, you know, I think we're going to incorporate everything on our show. We just want it to be fun. We want it to be entertaining. We'd like people to get to know us, and we want to get to know people as well. You know, there's always people have always had a bad impression of me and the Stanley brothers because of the legislation and because of the bills. But the things I have to tell them is, you know what? You take the good with the bad. We wouldn't be sitting here today right now if we didn't do something like that. So we're going to push forward with the responsible way to treat people, make sure people can afford it. And then, by the way, guys, anybody and everybody that's listening right now, please go to the Realm of Caring website, realmofcaring.com. If you know anybody that's suffering from cancer, epilepsy, MS, Parkinson's, arthritis. We're not just AIDS, HIV, guys. We're not just stopping at cancer right now. We want to help anybody and everybody. So if you're unfortunately are dealing with one of these conditions, call us. We're going to help you. If you know somebody that's dealing with one of these conditions, call us. Email. There's a contact form on that website, realmofcaring.com. We will get in contact with them, and we're going to help you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. We're really excited to have you. Welcome to the iCannabis radio family.
Thank you.
Because your family needs to be larger.
Welcome one and all.
So I hope that you stick around. You can hang out in the green room, the Edson green room. We have Wayward Bill coming on next, and then we want to talk to you a little bit after we talk to Russ Belville, formerly of the NORML Network. So thank you very much. The American Weed Realm Radio starts Tuesday, June 5th at 7 p.m. Thank you guys so very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, always. You know, did I say it when I started with the Stanley Brothers? Once again, what's really cool is being able to do a show with our friends. It's why Amy and I like to do our show together, right?
It's true.
We hang out with Chris. We hang out together. It's really nice. But, you know, tonight I'm really excited. Bill, it's been a long time since you have been on a show with me. And thank you so much for contacting me because you've got some really important stuff that you want to talk about.
That's right. How you doing, Georgia?
I'm well, thank you.
Amy?
Hey, Bill. What has it been, a week? Since we've seen each other.
Like that,
we were on a series where we were seeing each other almost every day. So
that's
week
like dating,
seems like a long time.
Yeah. My mystery date.
Right, I saw that. That was so cute. I'm always the sister. I'm never the date. That's okay, though.
That's okay. We don't want to go there.
So you're here to talk kind of about two things. One is you have the U.S. Marijuana Party political convention coming up.
And here we go. Anyway, yes, we do have the United States Marijuana and its U.S. Marijuana Party political convention coming up. We're having it coincide with the 43rd annual Smoke-In in Washington, D.C., which is held every year on the 4th of July. It starts basically at 9 a.m. at Lafayette Square across from the White House. It's a gathering time. We gather there between 9 and 12, and then we en masse and march down to Lincoln Memorial Park, where we have a stage near the Vietnam War Memorial Wall. There we have speakers for 3 hours, and then music. We've never had a political convention. When I basically took over the party a year ago, I was handed, 3 states, and I made a chairman in Maryland who's worked out really good, Jeff Kabik, who needs some prayers right now. He's in the hospital at the moment. And but anyway, I was handed this party, and I took it over. But the thing is that the internet's great for all the networking and stuff, but when it comes down to brass tacks, you have to be face to face and to create something.
Right.
Where people can look at each other and say, yes, I have a vote. And so I decided, I thought I was going to try it at 420 this year, just too much going on.
Sure.
Let's face it, rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations. And but anyway, so I decided
a little
that
inside information.
Right. But I decided that DC would probably be a better place, because one thing, it's decision 2012, for the country.
Right.
And if any year this year that we need more people in DC than we normally do. I'm encouraging any group in the country that is cannabis minded to come and join us in DC this year. That I think it's that important, and I'll get to a little more on that in a minute. I want to get back to the convention. Anyway, I'm trying to resurrect the U.S. Marijuana Party. 4 chapters now, 20 when Mark Emery was financing the party, and it's dwindled down. I think that we need a grassroots party in this country, as opposed to all the 3-letter organizations. There has to be a party out there for the people's voice, and I hope to resurrect that and provide it for the people.
So both events are kind of coinciding this year. The convention for the American Marijuana Party, the U.S. Marijuana Party, and also your convention or your protest at D.C., correct?
That is correct. But the thing is that there's plenty of time and space to do it all together on one field.
Absolutely, and those are all the right people in the right place to be anyways.
Right.
I really like what you said about people who are cannabis minded. I think one of the things that people forget is for a lot of us, the end of prohibition is our number one political goal. And we have a lot of political goals, but that's our number one. For other people, the end of prohibition may be 5, 6, 10, or 12, but we need, if it's your 12th most important issue is to end prohibition, we still need you to stand up and to be counted and to come to events like the one in DC, because right now, what's the percentage? Something like 70% of Americans think that we should do away with prohibition. Well, we don't expect 70% of the people to vote that way. So why aren't people voting the way that they're feeling? And the way to do that is to continuously have people who say, I'm a stockbroker, I want to end prohibition. I'm a dancer, I want to end prohibition. I'm the president of the United States and I smoked pot and I want to end prohibition.
It's also a good place for people to come and network for the upcoming Democratic and Republican conventions, so that they can direct their canna-minded focusedness towards becoming a lobby. And that's another thing that I think that the people need is their own lobby. That there's a lot of lobbies out there, but I think what a lot of the schism that's in the movement is because there's just too many lobbies.
I agree. There's a lot, like you said earlier, there's a lot of 3-letter groups out there. Yeah. And they are in conflict.
And they forget it's my cause, your cause, but they forget it's because we all want the same thing at the end of the day.
That's a beautiful way to summarize that, actually. Right. Very, very apt. Well, first and foremost, I know it's Memorial Day, and I wanted to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Wayward Bill. I know a lot of people know you, but they don't know what you have really done for us all. I believe you served in the Vietnam War for 4 or 5 years?
I was in the service for 3 years, 4 months.
Wow. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
This is a day where you should take time to look around you and thank the people who have served us, whether directly or through the armed forces or whatever it may be. It's Memorial Day, so please do take time to take notice.
I would like to thank everybody in any war that went and gave it all, or is still living and survived. That it's a day to remember all that. We do have Veterans Day too, but this is a day to remember the living and the dead.
Absolutely.
And even the people that disagreed.
That's right.
Yes.
So I have to say, you have been to D.C. for 4th of July for how many years now?
This will be my 3rd year.
Your 3rd year. And it's expensive.
Yes, it is.
And so what have you done in the past to be able to help raise funds to be able to hit on your trip?
I love you, sister.
I'm there for you, my friend. I'm there.
Did Mom tell you to say that?
No, okay. You know what? I've been with you for 3 years.
Right.
I get this.
Okay. I am looking for a sponsor. I actually have Grateful Meds stuff on here. I plugged for Grateful Meds up there in Netherlands. They were my sponsor 2 years ago. Last year it was Chiba Chews. If you want to get hold of me through Facebook, feel free. I am looking for a sponsor. I'll wear your T-shirt, throw your stuff off the stage, and plug you all day long.
And the thing about it is, it's all well and good for Bill to wear your stuff, but the fact of the matter is, we need a reasonable voice in D.C. to be there to not only talk about the importance of medical marijuana and how important it is for patients, but the fact of the matter is that we need to legalize this harmless plant. And this is a wonderful way to do it, and Bill is a wonderful spokesperson. So please contact Bill on Facebook, or feel free to contact iCannabis Radio, and we'll put you in touch with him. We want to be able to send him to D.C. He should not have to ride a bus again. Last year, how many hours?
It was a day and a half.
It was a shit long time to ride the bus. And it doesn't take that much money to be able to get you on a plane.
Actually, this year, me and Charlie Lake, who is chairman up in Wyoming, are driving.
Excellent.
And to be able to haul some things for some people. But anyway.
Legal things for some people.
Right,
yeah.
Legal things. Banners, costumes, things like that. Anyway. The Smoke-In's coming up. If you want to check out the Smoke-In, it's at www.smoke-in.org. If you want to get hold of the United States Marijuana Party for more information, you can go to www.usmjparty.org. And not just a little sales pitch for the 43rd Smoke-In. We are looking for sponsors that would like to either pay for their banners to be walked through the march. Banner placement on the stage is that it's made into a big banner, and
sure.
your logo's on it, or you can have booth and banner stuff, or you can become a total sponsor, which guarantees whoever you want to speak there a booth, the banners and the whole smear. You can reach John Plyka, that's PLYKA at 202. That's in Washington D.C. at 705-8647. Or you can reach me here in Denver at 720-628-2639. Repeating John again, 202-705-8647. Or Wayward Bill at 720-628-2639. We'll be glad to get out the information You can look at it online, and then if you are interested, we will send out the packages to you.
Excellent. You can send Bill a Facebook message. I can't guarantee he can be your friend because he's probably been maxed out for months and months and months.
Actually, I've pretty got that under control.
He's good about weeding them out.
Right.
I've seen that a couple times. He gets the haters out of it.
Right.
Sometimes I open my mouth and they take care of themselves.
Right. Good point. My darling, as always, wonderful to have you on.
Thank you.
you
Thank
so
you.
very much. We're going to take a quick break, and we'd like to thank our sponsor, No-Do Urban Garden Supply, downtown Denver's finest hydroponic and organic supply center, located at 1330 27th Street in Denver. That's about 4.5 blocks northeast of Coors Field, 303-296-3424. We are serving the needs of the commercial and hobby cultivist. Come see our friend Levi for the fresh in-store brewed compost tea, free for all customers. They support and have all of your most favorites supplies. That's No-Do Urban Garden Supply, downtown Denver's finest hydroponic and organic supply center. You can reach them at www.nodouurbangardensupply.com. You are listening to The Cure with George and Amy. We'll be right back. And I have to pee. Hello? Hi. Welcome. We're just kidding. We're not really leaving. Why would we leave? Are you kidding
Maybe
me?
because we have to pee.
I know. I've had to pee. It's been one of those days where I've had to pee virtually all day.
Inopportune peeing incentives. Welcome to sales.
You know, right? And then, do you ever have that happen where all you can think about is the fact that you have to pee?
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes it very hard to run to the bathroom.
Right. So, I'm really excited for our next guest. We are going to talk to Russ Belville, formerly of the NORML Network, which died kind of an unceremonious death.
Ceremonious, timely, unceremonious, untimely.
I'm thinking timely. I'm thinking,
Okay.
I mean, not for Russ in particular. I mean, I'm thrilled that Russ is doing his own venture, but NORML didn't feel like they wanted to spend the money on that kind of social media, and so they cut it off.
Because social media is dying.
Well, but they can spend money on all kinds of things, like their big conference in Aspen, where they spend hundreds of dollars on a dinner by a famous chef, and been to it a gajillion times. It's a fantastic freaking time. Don't get me wrong, but wow, I guess if I'm organizing my small budget, I'm thinking better of it. They call it a fundraiser. I know they've never made money off of it. I know that firsthand. It's just one of those things.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, you know what? One of the things that I admire and appreciate about Russ is, first of all, he's a great personality. There's a reason why he won his slot on by Air America on XM Radio in 2006.
Awesome. Wow, yeah.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
He's just got that personality, and he's definitely been loyal to NORML, despite the fact that he doesn't necessarily have to be.
Right.
He, as you'll hear in the interview,
he's always got a smiling face. That's for sure.
He's always got a smiling face. He's got a pretty good disposition, and the other thing is he's also a bulldog. He doesn't let a fight go, and as you'll hear in the interview, I mean, there's a couple of times where I could have really picked a fight with him, and I didn't necessarily. Part of it was because I don't fight when the fight doesn't need to happen.
Right.
You
That's most people do not understand that nuance. There's no need to fight or bring up an argument because the point is moot. Most people still dive right in, and that's how they lose a lot of friendships and a lot of connections, especially in this industry, I've found.
Absolutely. And then you know what else happens? You also lose the fight, even if your point was fantastic.
Exactly.
Because if you belabor a point, if you knock someone over the head with a hammer when a simple, lick of the tongue will do, then you have screwed it all up.
I've never really heard that kind of metaphor.
You like it,
turn
huh?
of the phrase, but I really do like it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's so true. It's so true. People think that we're stupid, and so if they bash us over the head with a point, then that will suddenly change our mind.
We'll get it.
Right.
The light bulb. No, it's not the light bulb moment.
And what you do is you hand people the facts. and they get a whole bunch of things to choose from, and things make sense to them or they don't.
Yeah.
And so what you need to do is you need to give people a fact and let them gnaw on it.
Let them decide for themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's one of the things that I think you'll hear in this interview is, I feel like I don't know if everyone has heard Russ's final broadcast, which was pulled from the NORML Network but is still available on YouTube, and to me it felt a lot like Russ was really surprised, and he claims that isn't the case, and maybe and it may very well not be the case, but I couldn't help but feel bad for him, because there's nothing worse than being surprised that what you were doing is changing.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with that interview.
Yeah, please enjoy.
You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com. Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Hello, this is Russ.
Hi, Russ. This is Georgia again on iCannabis Radio. How are you?
I'm sounding good.
Yeah, you do sound good. You do sound good. Well, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We're really happy to have you.
Well, thanks for having me on here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a little bit of a wild ride for you lately. But before we get into all of that, I would like to take a stroll back in history and have you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the internet radio world and the radio world.
Okay. Well, the radio world I got started in completely as a fluke. There was a contest, a talk radio contest that was done in 2006 called The Search for the Next Great Progressive Talk Radio Star. And our local AM Air America affiliate, KPOJ, was involved in it, as well as, I think, 23, 24 other stations around the country. And the long story short of it is that I won the national contest. The prize in the national contest was a contract to be an XM radio star. So I was on XM radio for a couple of years, and that led to podcasting. It led to here.
Very exciting. So what was the format and the content of your show on your XM station?
Oh, boy, I tell you, it was, I was a progressive or liberal or left-wing, however you want to characterize it, talk radio host on their
correct.
liberal channel there. Yeah, so it was all politics, and it was right at the tail end of the Bush administration. So I was there throughout all the closing 2 years of the George W. Bush administration. It was quite a show to have.
Sure, it was content without you even having to search for it.
You wake up every day having to figure out, all right, what stupid things did he say that I'm not going to go over today? Because there's so many.
Exactly. And so you did that for 2 years, which led you to what?
Well, I was doing the talk radio, and along with that, I was still doing my activism with NORML. I had started with Oregon NORML in 2005, and had been going to the national conferences and meeting a lot of people, and just happened to be the right guy in the right place at the right time. Chris Goldstein, who had been doing NORML's podcast, had to step away from it. Yep. They needed someone who was an activist with radio experience, and there I was. I picked up doing the podcast, and that led to working for NORML.
And then the podcast turned into something much larger, right?
Right. Well, I found that I was originally doing the podcast, it was kind of difficult for me because I'd been doing live talk radio. And what I found, and maybe you found this too doing recording work, is that live takes a lot less time. If you record, if you're trying to pre-record, you'll stop and you'll edit and you'll fix, and it's never good enough, and you'll hear a sound like my dog barking in the back, and you want to stop and go back. But when it's live, you can just get it done. And so instead of spending the 3 to 4 hours doing a 45-minute podcast, I said, let's spend 2 hours doing a 1 hour live show and then have more time to do other things. So I made the show a 1 hour live show, and then later expanded it to a 2 hour live show, then brought on some other shows, pre-records and other live shows to make an entire 24-hour network.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. The the Mile High NORML show was part of the NORML Network for a while until we stepped away and changed our name and our focus and those kinds of things. And then recently, NORML had to let go of the NORML live show, correct?
Well, it's really more they let go of me. I let go of the live show. I had been putting all this work and time into it, and it just didn't seem like that was the direction NORML wanted to go as far as outreach was headed. So I actually pulled the plug. Nobody can blame NORML for stopping the show. They were more than willing to have me continue to do it at the in the way that I was doing it. I just could no longer continue to do it. It was just far too much expenditure with not enough, promotion and exposure.
So they were willing to go ahead and continue with the podcast, but not the NORML live network. Is that right?
Well, it was all up in the air. Okay. I was willing to continue doing the podcast part of it, to cut back to where it was that I had originally started. But to continue to do the live network and the live shows, it required just more investment of time and promotion and energy. And I just think NORML wanted to put time, promotion, and energy into other projects that they've been doing it. So I still wanted to do what I was doing. So I just felt it was best, that we both kind of came to the conclusion it was best that I stepped away and did this as an independent venture.
Yeah, because money's tight all over, and certainly NORML is trying to be thoughtful about where their dollars are going.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, and the question is, if you're going to run an organization that's a law reform organization, do you really want to get involved in being a media production company? And that's kind of where I was taking things and wanting to go was I feel like our cannabis community, we see so much coming out of Colorado or California or even Oregon for that matter, but what about the people in Missouri or Tennessee or Maine or Alaska? There's enough cannabis consumers and enough of the cannabis market out there to not restrict it to just medical or just spiritual or, there's industrial hemp that we hardly talk about. Right. There's just so much to cover that I felt, I needed to broaden my scope and take this to the next level, which is, what I'm doing now, an independent, 24-hour network just about cannabis and cannabis reformers.
Great. So I watched your last segment that was ultimately pulled, and it felt to me a little bit like, it was painful to watch because I felt really sad, but it felt to me like you were really kind of surprised about the time frame in which the show was ended. Is that accurate, or is that my assumption?
Maybe your assumption. I wasn't surprised about what I was doing. Like I said, I'm the one who called the shot on that one as far as ceasing production of the live network. The surprising portions of it had to do with some other stuff with regard to funding coverage of events in the cannabis community. That's what caught me by surprise and kind of put me in a position where I felt like I needed to move on and do something independent.
Are you talking about? One of the things that you say in that final broadcast is that you guys had raised some money independently to go to the I think it was the San Francisco Cannabis Cup, and that money.
Yeah, I was under the impression that that money that we were raising was going into a fund because I personally don't have the financial means to be able to cover these things or even to pay for them in advance and get them expensed. So we had worked out what I had thought we had worked out was a way to fundraise specifically for that expense. And then I was kind of surprised to find that no, all fundraising goes into one big bucket, and if there's money left over, then we can do our productions. And so that's kind of where, it's kind of hard to plan ahead when you don't, it's not just me. I can jump on a plane and go wherever, but I have so many volunteers that are a part of this. They need to schedule their lives. They need to be able to figure out when they're taking vacation from their work to be able to do work for free for me, to be able to go to someplace like San Francisco or Denver. So, with the need to plan ahead and then the inability to know, are we going to be able to go here or there, makes it kind of difficult. And it also makes it difficult when you're programming and trying to sell advertising or sponsorship. To not know if you're going to be able to cover an event or not, you can't sell an ad for something you don't know if you're going to be it. So it just seemed best that I take it independent so I could have control over these variables and try to realize the vision that I had for this 24-hour network.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish we had talked before you thought that your fundraising dollars were going to go directed to your trip to the Cannabis Cup, because when I was part of the NORML Women's Alliance, donations were made that were earmarked specifically to the NORML Women's Alliance, and unfortunately that experience was the same, and our donors were very upset that the money couldn't be earmarked to a specific something, that it needed to go to the larger NORML pot, which is one of the things that if you are making a donation, you want to know in advance whether or not you can have your donation go specifically to an event or a cause or a function or a project, and I'm sure lots of organizations do that, but it certainly is disappointing because I would imagine that lots of people would have been really excited to see you and John at the Cannabis Cup. You guys have a huge following.
We're still working on that. San Francisco is still, a month away at this point. We have friends in the Bay Area. We have places to stay. So at this point, if we get the network off the ground and on its feet and we have some extra funds to make it down there, we just might make the road trip and visit for the Cannabis Cup. I don't know if we'll have a booth or anything, but we might just show up.
I think a lot of people would be really happy to see that.
That'd be fun.
So I just have to ask some pointed questions because you're a straight up kind of guy. Some might say a pit bull, and I'm not, and I'm not. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask the questions, and you answer as you see fit. So one of the things that has been a bone of contention, I think, between maybe me, maybe a lot of people who work in the medical cannabis industry, and some of the things that you have said, either because you personally believe in them or because it's a normal stance, or both, is the box canyon theory, the idea that if a state has legalized medical cannabis, that there'll never be room for legalization, and I've said clearly, and a lot of the people that I have that I have been an activist with and seen work diligently have truly believe differently, and the medical cannabis industry in Colorado works really hard to ensure that that not only patients get safe access to their medicine, but that we end prohibition because it's stupid. So help me understand a little bit about your standpoint.
Yeah, first of all, the framing of that, not entirely accurate. Part of what Box Canyon is about is looking at a broader national reform strategy, not in a specific state. Obviously, Oregon, Washington, and Colorado are voting on legalization. Well, Oregon's close, but voting on legalization, and in large part because there is medical marijuana. People got used to it, saw the sky didn't fall, had a lot of committed activists who were educating people the truth about this wonderful plant, and saw in some places quasi-regulated, or in Colorado, a very regulated system expand around medical marijuana, and became very comfortable with it. And I think we're going to pass it, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And of course, in 2010, we had California going for legalization. So in the western states, what I call the big four, Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, obviously medical marijuana leads to legalization. But where the Box Canyon comes in is when you start trying to pass medical cannabis laws in places like New Jersey or New York or D.C., and they will use the examples of what's going on, some of the unscrupulous people that get involved. And again, that's a tiny minority, but in any industry, there's going to be somebody who's a bad apple. They'll use the bad apple examples to try to paint medical marijuana as being this bad, out-of-control thing, and then these legislators in Pennsylvania or in New Jersey or whatever end up approving these medical cannabis laws, like in New Jersey, where you have to almost be a terminal patient. You can't get it for chronic pain. You can't get it for most of the conditions we would recognize medical marijuana for. And when you can, it's so severely limited. I mean, New Jersey wants to limit it to 3 strains of marijuana of less than 10% THC. Right. So the Box Canyon idea is this idea that if you only fight for medical marijuana, if you just say no, marijuana is just medical, then that's what you're going to get, marijuana that's just medical. They're going to make Sativex, they're going to make other pills and sprays and inhalers. So the idea here is not that medical marijuana is bad or a detriment or a detour, but that medical marijuana needs to remember it's just a part of what our big picture is. And I think most medical people get that already. I mean, most people that are involved in this, you, me, all the people we know, have always been at heart what I would call legalizers from the beginning. We've always believed everybody should have the benefit of this plant and don't need a king, a court, or a cleric for permission to do so. What I'm trying to address with Box Canyon is some people who are taking this and trying to say, oh, medical did so well, medical opened up so many doors, that the way to get legalization is to make everything medical. All use is medical. And I've heard that, and I agree that people that use marijuana get a lot of benefits of it, whether they're patients or not. But there are some people for whom their use is not medical. Some people have dysfunctional relationships with cannabis. Some people have cyclical vomiting syndromes from cannabis. So
some people have fun with cannabis, period, end of story.
What's that?
Some people have fun with cannabis, period, end of story.
Right, and that's great, and that's the thing is that the idea is let's not try to fit all marijuana into a Red Cross shaped hole, because while there's many medical aspects to marijuana use, there's also recreational aspects to marijuana use. There's spiritual aspects, there's industrial aspects, and let's just remember that broader picture as we're moving forward with our plans to pass medical marijuana and to pass marijuana legalization.
I think your point is really interesting. I think one of the things that I struggle with a little bit, though, is the idea that that there are people who are saying, "Ooh, we just want to go medical," or the only way to get to legalization is through medical. I think that the idea is one, gosh, what's going to be the most palatable? And there are patients who are in dire and deathly need for their medicine, and we know that it's been successful in 16 states, and so that makes an easy road, and I think it's a parallel road to legalization. And when organizations, especially an organization as well respected as NORML was, to single out those bad apples, because as you just pointed out, that's a minority, and a teeny tiny minority, and to single those out, I mean, I'm sure you agree, does nothing to help the entire cause.
Well, it'd be kind of similar if we looked at, during alcohol prohibition, if we painted every guy who had a speakeasy or every guy that was brewing home wine as Al Capone. Well, obviously, only Al Capone was Al Capone, and most of the people during Prohibition were brewing wine for themselves and their friends and their family, and most of the speakeasies were nice places that, didn't have a lot of problems, So, yeah, that's I think, the biggest thing that frustrated me, and, you mentioned how it's been kind of a turbulent year for me, is having to deal with these maelstroms of bad framing and what's the word for it, I guess, painting with too broad a brush. It does make it difficult, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think one of the things that happens to sort of all human beings is you misspeak and the words come out of your mouth, and rather than saying, shit, I really didn't mean to say it exactly that way, you defend it to the dying death. And I think people lose a lot of respect for people who don't have the ability to say, crap, I made a mistake, and say, wow, you know what, just as you said, it was painted with too broad of a brush, and here's what I really meant. And so I think that there's been a lot of fighting for, let's be really thoughtful about the pioneers. I mean, there are people every day who go to work and dispense medical cannabis to patients who take enormous risks, and to call them anything other than heroes and pioneers is shameful.
Well, there are some things, though, before we get too much into the land of milk and honey here, that we do have to address, though, I think, as a community, if we want to continue to be taken seriously when we call it medical marijuana. And one example, I went to one of the Expo Smokeout concert events in California. And while I'm there is a long line of mostly people between the ages of 18 and 24 waiting to get their California recommendation. And where they're getting it from is this little area that had been staked out with 4 tall poles, about 5 foot by 5 foot, and wrapped around with a little plastic tarp. And this was the doctor's office where they were going to get their recommendations. And the guy there, who was the doctor, I presume, had a stethoscope around his neck. Now, mind you, this is while we're at a concert venue where there's huge, loud, booming rap from every angle you can come at you, and I'm supposed to expect that he's taking someone's vital signs and able to hear with that stethoscope to check someone's blood pressure. I'm sorry, I got to call bullshit on that. That's not medical.
Well, and my guess is, though, that no one is getting, well, I don't know what the specifics are in California, but they're probably not getting a recommendation for medical marijuana for their blood pressure. And so that, to me, that's not as important. I mean, you don't know if that person had doctor's records or any of those kinds of things. Your point's well taken. I understand that. But there's lots of things that you don't see. For example, in my store every day, I have to tell you that I'm constantly surprised when I see there's a patient in my store who is this kind of rough and tumble looking 22-year-old guy who broke his back when he was 16. You would never guess, because he looks like exactly the stereotype that you're talking about. His pain is outrageous. He's had his discs fused several times. The kid's 22 years old and has outrageous pain. So jumping.
I used to say that all the time with the in Oregon, when they would. One of the things they say here in Oregon is, "Oh, there's so much abuse of medical marijuana. Look at all these healthy young people with the."
Right.
And I would say, well, look, what does epilepsy look like?
Exactly.
What does,
thank you.
Migraines look like? People don't look like they're sick all the time. But the thing that is the problem is that, you know it, I know it, the community knows it, we know it's all legit, people really need marijuana. But for that legislator in New Jersey who sees the picture of a guy supposedly hearing a heartbeat while he's at a rap concert, it makes the patient out there in New Jersey who could really use medical marijuana unable to get it because of we've lost the credibility and respect of people when they see things like that.
Which makes it that much more important.
On us.
That's right. It makes it that much more important when someone like you, who has such a big following, is able to say exactly what you just said, that the face of a medical marijuana patient can look like all kinds of different people, and they don't have to look like someone in a wheelchair. I mean, your example of a migraine is a wonderful example. And in Colorado, the average age of registered patients, both men and women, are in their 40s. You know, and so again, breaking those stereotypes. So
I've
really,
always said that your AARP card ought to be your medical marijuana card.
Right.
Turn 50, bam.
Right, you're in. Well, having said all that, Russ, I mean, one of the reasons why I really wanted so much for you to be on tonight is because I'm so excited for you to talk about your new venture.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's the show I'm doing. I'm just basically I'm doing what I was doing before, and I'm continuing to do it. I'm just trying to find another way to get paid to do it, and not like we're trying to be Rockefellers here or anything. It's the Russ Belville Show, which was the name of my show when it was on XM satellite. So it's almost like a reboot, but not doing the XM thing. I'm going to stick with what I'm doing and covering the cannabis community. People can find it at radicalruss.com. And it's going to be a part of the larger 24-hour network that I'm reinvigorating called POTNet, which is Prohibition Opposition Television Network, POTNet. And you can find that at potnet.us. And, it's going to be 24 hours a day streaming. We're going to replay all the best shows that we can find and get permission for. The idea here is to promote all reform, all the groups that are trying to reform, all the angles of reform, medical, spiritual, industrial, recreational, whatever you want to call it. We're for everybody. It's 2012. We haven't got any time for 2008. We want to put everybody together and fight for legalization in 2012.
I'm in. Congratulations.
All right.
I cannot be more happy for you, and I'm sorry that this has been a crazy ass year, and I hope that your new show does well. I'm sure that it will. The station sounds fantastic, and we will make sure that our listeners get all that information, and we'll put it on our website.
A lot of what we're trying to do here is give more exposure also to great broadcasters that are out there in all places. I mean, we got a show from Kalispell, Montana. We got a show from the UK. And what we do is we just play like the first half hour or first hour, and then we tell people, hey, you want to get the rest of the show? You want to follow these people's tweets and their Facebook and their blogs, go to yada yada yada.com. And so the idea here is, let's just build everybody. Let's lift everyone up, because this is a community that needs to be heard. And we're starting to see in the polls, we're starting to see in the headlines that they're starting to hear us.
You're absolutely right. That's right. I'm really hoping, I've said this a million times, I'm sure you've heard me say it, that I cannot wait for my kid to turn 16 when he says to me, Mom, you're kidding. Marijuana used to be illegal. What? Prohibition.
What?
That's bullshit. No way, you're lying. And then he's going to go ask his dad, and Warren's going to say, yep, Mom's telling you the truth, and he's not going to understand it. That's my hope.
Yep. We hope so.
We hope so. Well, thank you. Listeners, you've been listening to our friend Russ Belville. Don't forget to check out his new show. Russ, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Georgia. Nice talking to you.
You too. What a great show it's been tonight. We want to thank all of our guests. But, we want to talk a little bit real quick with the Stanleys about our interview with Russ Belville. We wish him quite a bit of luck in his new venture starting on Monday. So what do you guys think? I mean, we don't want to get too into the whole Box Canyon argument and those kinds of things. We've talked about it a million times, but you guys have started this nonprofit, the Realm of Caring, that really is only about helping the most sick patients. And so when someone argues that it's bad for legislators to see a doctor seeing patients at a rock concert, what does that do for you? What do you think about that?
Well, what I think it does is I think it brings it to light. I think that NORML and groups like this are the ones that are bringing this to the legislators. They're not going out and actively, going into the rock concert arenas. And for me, I think it's ridiculous. This whole Box Canyon argument and the whole legalization versus medical, and what I would have to say, and I'm pretty opinionated on the subject, is if, and I don't think anybody in this room is against legalization. I think everybody's for legalization. But what the Stanley brothers do, what the Realm of Caring does, what Medical Marijuana Center should do, is it's medical, okay? And if the legalization crowds can get by on their own without having to use the medical excuse, then do it and stop arguing about it. Get out of that Box Canyon. Get out of chasing each other's tails, because one organization is shooting the legs off of another. We're going to continue to be medical. Medical marijuana is going to continue to cure cancer in many situations. It's going to continue to stop progressions of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS, ease arthritis pain, epilepsy, among probably hundreds of other things. We're going to continue to do that. And if you want it to be legalized, we do too. Then go for it and do it. But stop fighting about it.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Josh. You said it best. I mean, when legalization does happen, and I believe it will happen soon, the realm will still always be medical, because that's what we are.
Well, I thank you so much, because I think you did a really nice job of explaining. I mean, your organization is to help the sickest of the sick. I mean, that's what it is that you do. That's what Phoenix Tears is meant to do. You know, and that's not to say that any of us think that prohibition makes any sense in the world. And certainly, I mean, there's been a lot of arguments about the struggle that industry people in Colorado have with 64 and what 64 would do. And the argument really is, gosh, so I've got all these protections now as a medical state. Where do my protections go when I have a choice to become full-on legalization or just a medical center? And it's a struggle. And so it's not against legalization. It's against the protections that they've had against something that the federal government is opposed to.
That's exactly right. And if let's say that the proposition passes in November,
yes,
you're going to see the people that say, and let's say it, I'm for it, let's do it. But the people that are in it for the medicinal reasons are going to stay in it for the medicinal reasons. And if they think they're going to lose their profit, they're out of their minds. There's been so much more advances in the manufactured and infused product sections and in the laboratory sections of pointed treatments for particular diseases through medical marijuana. And so then the people that want to go legalization or recreation, you think they're going to go through to spend the money to dilute and do all of these pointed recommendations? Absolutely not. There's going to be a natural shift, and that natural occurrence is going to happen. We're going to see it, if not this year, very, very soon. So stop the bickering right now. It's ridiculous.
Knock it off. Well, thank you guys so much. We look forward to your inaugural show, which is again June 5th, Tuesday at 7 p.m. It should be an amazing show and wonderful, and I'll probably be here.
I hope so. We're going to have a lot of fun, so I hope everybody tunes in.
If there's food, I'm here. I mean, that's kind of my rule. If there's food, I'm here.
Bring potato chips or French fries.
Yes, those are my favorites.
Lock.
Exactly.
Cool, we'll do it.
Bill, thank you so much. As always, it was amazing to see you and wonderful. Please tell people again, if they would like to sponsor your trip to D.C. For the 4th of July, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, many people here in Colorado who maybe would like to have a little banner placement on my body, as in
Woo!
the form of a T-shirt.
Oh, sorry.
And you know, right?
How much for a tattoo?
No tattoos.
I was like,
Anyway, you can you know me as Wayward Bill on Facebook. You can reach me at 720-628-2639, or that's basically it. Or you can reach me through the United States Marijuana Party at U.S. Marijuana Party at www.usmjparty.org.
I think we have to play residual, so I'm not going to sing that song.
Yeah. 6, 7 foot. I can't remember the song.
That's
Jenny.
probably good.
Jenny.
Jenny, come on. Wonderful. Well, please think about sponsoring Bill. It's wonderful for him to be a voice for us in DC. We have an exciting week ahead of us on iCannabis Radio.
Full and exciting week. It's kind of crazy.
So what's going on?
Well, starting with tomorrow, we of course have the lovely Jenny in December at Sexpot Radio, and they're
lovely Sexpot.
Lovely Sexpot. So we got top shelf extracts and swagger glass, and on the discussion of pheromones. That should be interesting.
Do you believe that there's such a thing as pheromones?
Absolutely.
I do too.
Because there's boyfriends that I've had who their BO smells absolutely abhorrent, and there's some where I don't care. It actually kind of smells good. So that's pheromones.
Right?
It's true. Don't.
So they'll talk about that
tomorrow. Watch the Discovery Channel. They'll tell you. You know, I'm not lying.
I believe you.
Wednesday, we obviously have the Thunderdome with Scott and Crunchy. I'm sure they'll have a nice, crunchy, interesting discussion, which we do not have the subject of.
They're going to talk. I think they're going to talk about the Freedom Cafe a little bit.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
love the Freedom Cafe. That's
absolutely
so interesting. And then Thursday we have the Overgrow, the radio show with Stickman, and Thursday we'll have Mason with the Amendment 64 or the Proposition 64, which, if you are not familiar with, is the legalization proposition on the ballot and up for vote this November. So an attorney will also anonymously, I use the air quotes, anonymously call out a client who is working with the DEA. So that should be interesting.
I wonder if that's true. I think we'll find out on Thursday.
No comment.
That freaks me out.
It freaks me out enough to know the things I know, and hear something like that's going to be talked about. They're also going to address Bob Krause's trial once again, which starts on June 4th. Then next week, we have a full lot ahead of us. Of course, the lovely Georgia and myself on Monday with Mad Hatter's Glass. So they'll be giving us a preview of some of the new items in the store.
Last month, we talked about slime, remember? We love slime.
We love slime. It's like Ghosts, but better.
It is, just like that.
And then also on Tuesday, we have the normal lineup of Sexpot Radio, but predecessing that at this point now will be the Stanley Brothers with their American Weed Realm of Caring show starting at 7 p.m. And then coming up in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a history lesson with Greg here on The Cure with Georgia and myself. And then Monday the 25th, another session with Ask Levi and attorney Mark Sisti. That must be Grace's
dad. Yeah,
oh,
he's been a friend of ours for
exciting.
years. That's how we know Grace.
And,
and
talking about New Hampshire, right?
That's right. New Hampshire is about to turn medical. Everyone cross their fingers. Also on June 11th, we're going to have Jessica LaRue, Twirling Hippie Confections, is going to be on to talk about what it used to be like in the edibles world.
The olden days.
The olden days when she sold in the parking lots, and then how she turned into, right?
We're going to have to censure her a little bit.
I think we're going to let her go. And then she's going to talk about how she became a law-abiding business owner, and then what she sees for the future. So it ought to be Jessica-esque.
Jessica-esque, very Jessica-esque, LaRue-esque. So
Yes.
not next week, but the following
On
week.
June 11th.
We'll have the Twirling Hippie in person, which is exciting. So keep an eye out for that. Obviously, check our Facebook. Check back for any new updates and exciting things going on here at iCannabis Radio. Just want to give a quick shout-out to this week's sponsors, Mile High Wellness, Nodo Urban Garden Supply, Edson Maton and Mats, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Mile High Wellness again, Medical Marijuana
We really like
101,
them.
and, of course, Run on Grass,
Run on
because you
Grass.
always should.
Right. I ran 10 miles.
Wow, today?
This weekend.
High
and I
five
feel it right now.
For being awesome. Thank you so much for listening to our lovely banter and, eccentricities coming out in person. Thank you once again. It's Amy and Georgia with The Cure.
Peace out.